What's going on, everyone? Choco here, and welcome to the last of the mini-series, hopefully. We're going to be talking about our mystical agriculture nonsense, our bonsais, and quantum rings. It's the final thing where we're talking about the last things that we have as additions to the farm area and talking about what's to come. So, first thing first, this is at the time of me getting ready to leave and going on the trip and stuff. So maybe you've seen some other people streaming or recording or whatever else, and maybe the other guys have done some work. If you have seen some more work, don't freak out. Time hasn't broken. It's just that this was pre-recorded. Maybe they did some work, hopefully. If they have not done work, this is video proof that they are being lazy. Except for Artie. Artie did help a lot. But everyone else, Dearth, Tex, I'm looking at you. If also you're Dearth or Tex's kids, kick them in the shin one time. One time, not too hard, but enough to be like, you shouldn't have done that. Anyways, aside from asking kids to kick their fathers in the shins, let's talk about where the base is at. Currently, you'll notice that we have a lot of these Inferium seeds. You'll also notice that the tiers are all different. We're slowly getting these upgraded so we can have more Inferium being processed and made, and we also have stacked our existing growth crystals in this particular location, so we can go ahead and try to get more Inferium going so we can make out the other kinds of seeds, make the other essences, blah, 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 because this is the backbone for right now of what we need to do for everything else. In addition to that, we've ordered these things all in the order they appear for the seed listing, with the exception of one, because one of them got goofed up. But we have them in order of where they appear here, so if we need to find one, we can quickly find it. And they are set up in such a way where we're currently doing 9x9s for each of these farms. To collect it, we have a harvester with power, which is then connected to an extraction cable, which is pulling everything into our filing cabinet. And the filing cabinet has the actual output, right? So in this case, this is giving us the stone essence as well as the fertilized essence. And also the product that you can make from their essences, assuming that they are simple and they are not hybrids. As an explanation of that, for example, to make something like clay, you would go ahead and ask for the thing to use both dirt and water. So these require two things. I would consider this to be a hybrid. Then the question becomes, well, which filing cabinet do you put it in? And I felt like just not dealing with it, so we don't do it that way. But in the cases of like cobblestone and stone, as they require direct things from there, that's fine. As well as some things that we omit a couple of them here and there that we're like, we just don't use this, so we don't really care. So filing cabinet to hold all of our stuff, and then of course a storage bus so we can go ahead and interact with that inventory across our AE2 network. Whew. So we did this for a lot of different things, but not all of them. I basically stopped at emeralds. Actually, speaking of which, I should probably plant these emeralds. But we basically stopped at emeralds, and there are a lot of different things that require mob chunks going forward that the guys will also need to do. A couple of things that we did discover while doing this is, number one, the fertilized essence drops from seemingly everything minus the Inferium crop. No idea why the Inferium crop is so weird about this, but everything else seems to be dropping fertilized essence every now and again through the harvester. Pretty good. In addition to that, whenever it comes to the actual using of fertilized essence on crop, it seems to have a chance of giving you seeds, which I believe chat said that was also something that happens whenever you go ahead and harvest them manually. So that is also a huge plus, because the harvester doesn't really net us seeds, but when we do fertilized essence to speed grow them, we're technically manually harvesting, so we're getting some seeds back. This is extremely nice on the things that require mob chunks if you don't have a bunch of mob chunks. I also believe that there's no restriction on them working on things like emerald, so also should be quite useful there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to low-key be doing this while I explain a couple of things that are going on with our farm for our emeralds, because that's a big yikes, and I don't want to leave all the work for the guys, because that's really scary, man. All right, so farm things. You might be like, okay, so what's the exact benefit here? Basically, mystical agriculture is now starting to take shape for our entire server series progress. What does this mean? This means that we're going to go ahead and be really rocking and rolling and getting a lot of different kinds of materials more readily available to us right away. Pretty darn good. This also means that we are going to say goodbye to a lot of things that seemingly required, there you go, emerald seeds, but we're going to get rid of some things that originally required the use of Tinker's Construct to make. As an example, we had iron that we had to put into the smeltery. We'd make like the iron amber, and we'd throw it into the smeltery, and then we do all this other stuff. Now it's just a matter of iron essence is being collected. I have changed that into iron, and we're ready to rock and roll. right out of the gate. Very nice. Cuts out a lot of the process. We still are collecting the other things for the amber and stuff, and I'll explain that in a moment, but just saying, cutting out the middleman, pretty darn cool. Now, for the other side, which I was just talking about, when it comes to the bonsais, you might be a little bit panicked saying, Choco, these are blue mulch, but there's nothing in them? Yes, don't worry, we're okay. We're just gonna keep these open for now, but we've actually finished this part of the farm, which is the bonsais have been populated for at least one of each of the things that can grow. I'm not entirely... Did someone take this one? Okay, weird. Anywho, I don't know why this is empty, but everything is populated here all the way down. The reason why we gave one entire floor to this particular one for the chorus fruit, by the way, is because this grows at the speed of a patat, and there's no way to grow it faster because there's no advanced kind of end stone dirt or something. So that's why they are currently growing like patats. Very slow patats, I might add. But everything else we have at least one copy of, including the slime. And so that is all good. We'll also be using blue mulch for right now, and it hasn't been destroying the server as of yet. We don't have a whole bunch of them running, admittedly, but this is, of course, the best and ultimate upgrade for mulch, which has been absolutely phenomenal and is 100% a. This was Arby. This was Artie's labor of love. He went ahead and did a lot of the work for this. And in addition to like a little tower here, and he's managed all the HDPE and substrate that we had going on in this thing, he's also gone ahead and put together the rest of the mulch steps for us, including like the fertilizer and stuff like that from our sewage thing that we haven't seen in a while. So pretty wild and crazy. All these, of course, are attached to everything. If you guys did not know, we got screwed over royally by the freaking bug that occurred with real filing cabinets and AE2 and stuff. It basically changed, you guys, here, I'm so furious about this. It changed a lot of our inventories to air. See that air? See, well, I can't really highlight it, but see the air on that little listing underneath filing cabinet? It changed, it voided a whole bunch of our stuff, and it just wiped them out wholesale. We just can't use them anymore. And I'm not going to get into the technicality of why I think this happens. It's been a known problem. But when we upgraded to the new filing cabinet version, it seems to have fixed the problem. So fingers crossed that things stay stable from here on out. Now, back to the farm. The bonsais are all rocking and rolling. You might be like, well, Choco, what's the point of having these bonsais going if a lot of them have their essence counterparts? The simple answer is that we have backups now, right? If for whatever reason, if we need a large influx of something and we just don't have the essence to support it, this is when this kind of stuff will come into play. In addition, this gives us a great way to work into alloying of certain kinds of materials because we can melt down, for the most part, most kinds of acorn and resin. So for example here, if I were to say, hey, I want to make liquid, not cottonwood, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but if I want to make liquid lapis, because I'm crazy, then I can go ahead, melt it down to molten lapis just from the acorn. And in a similar way, you'll notice that this works for resin. So pretty darn good. And we can still use it to make alloys in this way. And we don't even have to process it a second time, though I probably would want to. So bonsais, all good. And all we did here is we just attached a storage bus to the filing cabinets and we connected to the AE2 system. Not too crazy. Now, the other final thing for the AE2's major undertaking was, of course, oh, and also we have drives here. We haven't started doing that yet, but we have one other thing that's going on that's a little bit weird and nutty, which you may notice we brought back from our stone block playthrough, which are these bad boys. These are quantum rings. Now, the quantum rings are composed of the actual quantum ring itself, as well as a link chamber, and then within the link chamber are some quantum entangled singularities. Now, if you know about this, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and explain it for being thorough and complete. These things are made from taking a singularity, which is created from putting it into a matter condenser and dropping a buttload of items into a 64K ME storage component, and it gives you a singularity. This is very expensive. Put cobblestone generators like tier 5s and then have like the item translocators. That's what we did. But just let this run for a while. You'll eventually get them. And you're going to need at least one per, and you're going to get a pair of these two quantum entangled singularities, and you use that to connect your link chambers across time and space. This is what allows us to communicate to other areas. The important part about this, I hope I have the experience to do this. I just went to the wrong place. Lol, imagine a world. Okay, Okay, so I'm going here. Okay, good. Didn't bankrupt me. So the reason why this is important is because of this. I have access to the farm now from the new base. I'm so excited. So this is going to be a huge deal for us, obviously, because we can now access our we can access the materials that are even greater in number and hopefully a little bit better organized from the farm away from the farm, which should make things a little bit easier to work with. Also, the ring is set up in here if you were wondering where that was happening. So good, we have everything all hooked up. That sounds great, right? And yeah, for the most part, everything is currently going well. We just have to make sure now that we increase our mystical agricultures to fill up the entire plate, which is currently a 9x9, into a 15x15. We have a couple of things that we can focus on for bonsais if we so desire. I think what these floors will be mainly used for is to set up different kinds of alloying, but we haven't started that process yet. In addition to that, also we have dread lamps and mega torches. You're wondering what these things were if you don't recognize what they are. Mega torches to keep mobs from spawning, dread lamps to make sure that things aren't spawning like bats and junk, because they are super annoying. Also, they work on androids now, which is also really cool. But yeah, anyways, all that said and done, we have everything in a pretty well-handled spot, I think. And hopefully the guys will have all this populated and all that will be great and dandy, which means that we can actually start working on getting the new base up and running, getting maybe some alloying things underway, and then we have some things to explore still, because we haven't explored, I think, like lost cities we haven't explored yet, for example. So we have some things to also do. Oh, and also, if you're wondering what these blocks are, they're the little crafting computers I made. It's literally composed of 4 64Ks as well as 4 processings, which means that each bloom will be able to make each one of these CPUs can make use of 1 full bloom if it so desires. So pretty good. All right. Anyways, all of this talked about in terms of like the technical additions. Let me showcase one last time for you all the other side, which is all the things that we can currently craft right now. Also, be sure if you would like to craft something, you have an inventory, you can click this button to switch to the craftable view. Quite nice. But yeah, these are all the different things that we can craft right now. You will notice that there are a couple of key things here that I want to highlight for you guys before we go ahead and call it for the episode. Number 1, growth crystals, automation, better believe it. Now all this can be automated, even to the nether star, which we are getting from our deep mob. When it comes to other things like, and also remember that potions are automated this way. We also have certain things like this premium pickaxes and stuff like that. I actually threw my other pickaxe off the world again because I'm dumb. I mouse hit the Q button entirely too often. But I went ahead and automated this. It doesn't seem to work reliably for some reason, so I have to make like the component parts of the paxel before I can make a paxel. But now we have paxels that we can just kind of call from the ether, which is awesome. And a couple of other things that are probably worthwhile noting here. We have AE2, pretty much the entirety of it, automated. And, well, that's not true. We have a good portion of AE2 automated. So things like molecular assemblers, co-processing units, even acceleration cards, a lot of this is now automated. You will notice that there is one thing missing, which is the extra cells, if you are curious about that. Weird and gadgets, also make sure everything is loaded. All that stuff. And also we have one, and there will be more of these later, but we currently have one of these towering crafting things, which is of course going to help us with, this is actually slated to be our medium-sized one, and then we have to make the Big Daddy crafter at some point. But honestly speaking, we only need one Big Daddy crafter, because if we do too many, probably bad things would happen. So, hopefully you all are impressed, because this took a while. This was actually really lengthy. Of course, because this is on a server, over time we'll just accrue more resources, which makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, this has been pretty nutty and wild. And it's going to be pretty exciting to have this back whenever I get back, because a lot of the stuff will be populated, hopefully, and the existing things that we currently have are going to get us a bunch of resources, so we should be able to hit the ground running. So, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll be back next time you see me on hopefully Twitch or whatever. But thank you all for watching and spending time with me. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed, like down below, subscribe if you're new, if you'd like to get notifications, notification bell. And of course, today we covered the entirety of the farm. The miniseries is now wrapped up. Hopefully the next episode that you see coming forward will hopefully be all the guys showing me what they've done, making sure that we go through everything that we have, and then embarking on some new kind of adventure type of thing. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure where things will play out to, but we'll see. But new things should be coming on the horizon. I think other than that, there's not much else to talk about. So thank you all for hanging out with me. And as always, and most importantly, have a wonderful, safe day. Thank you. thank you for watching. And until next time, ciao for now.